Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, that's much better. His Excellency, the 6th President of the Republic of Zambia, fellow political leaders, invited party functionaries, party leaders, invited guests, and indeed the media. My work is very simple this afternoon, to deliver a statement on the Barotseland issue, as well as the Marshall Plan for the least developed parts of the country, the solution to what we believe to answer the Barotseland question. So please, I'll be able to read the statement on behalf of all the opposition political parties in the UK Alliance. As a country, we are deeply divided. Post-independence, our nationalist leaders tried to unite us, but the divisions persisted. For example, the deep rivalry between ANC and UNIP and UPP. However, we coined unto ourselves the motto of One Zambia, One Nation. We are currently very divided, not only politically, but even the church, as moral pillars of our society, is seen to be divided. It is worth noting that poverty and deprivation have deepened our divisions. Those in power are the ones deciding who gets what, where, and how, to the exclusion of the larger majority. Poverty has now become endemic. Take, for instance, when the government drops 3 bags of fertilizer in a village to a so-called cooperative of 30, that is exclusion. Our people are excluded from the national cake. As an alliance of political parties, it is our belief that the deep divisions caused by exclusion, poverty, and deprivation have to be immediately addressed by all of us, not by sending fighter jets over people's heads or battalions of armed men and women, young men and women, to Barotseland. We do not want the Chinsali occurrence to ever rear its ugly head again in any part of this beautiful country. We lost enough brothers and sisters in Chinsali who are and still internally and externally displaced. Recently, we lost our young men and women in Mongo, and some are still incarcerated in Barotseland over an issue that can be easily resolved around the table. This should never happen again. Certainly not under our watch as opposition political alliance, UCAP. As a country, we are a beacon of peace and stability in the region, Africa, and the world. The conduct of this current government is threatening the peace and security of our nation, especially the pronouncement of President Hakainde Hichilema that there is no Barotseland. The Northern Ireland conflict, in which a lot of lives were lost, ended in a Good Friday Agreement at the table. The brutal war in Angola ended at Mulungushi International Conference Center here at home in Lusaka at the table. As an alliance of political parties, we are calling for dialogue, not only on Barotseland question, but on the endemic poverty and deep national divisions that have caused stagnation in our quest for development as a country. To kickstart the development agenda, invited guests and the media, the country is in dire need of a Marshall Plan, especially for the most underdeveloped provinces in our country. Nationwide, peoples and regions are feeling marginalized and left behind in the development agenda and in having access to social amenities and employment. As Opposition Alliance, we are saying that the country is in dire need of a province-specific martial development plan to address the glaring poverty and hunger we're currently experiencing as a country. As a nation, let us not underestimate the cries for development from the provinces and from voices such as Chunda, Chaitwa, Chundu Chaitwa, Omozi Kumawa, Okola Development Foundation, for the sharing of national resources, as this will prevent the creation of further divisions in our nation. Time for dialogue is now. The growing discontent from the provinces is a clear indication that people feel very strongly that the developmental path that the country has been taken on has not addressed the developmental needs of our people in the provinces. We cannot continue along this trajectory. As Opposition Alliance in government, we will prioritize the development of provinces in agriculture, health, education, and directing investment from foreign direct investments project to the historical.
What's up? My name is Ken Bimbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to JCool.
Least developed provinces. We shall deliberately move to ensure that the least developed provinces in the country catch up with other provinces in terms of health and road infrastructure, investment in agriculture, and manufacturing. The developmental needs of our peoples need to be tailored to each specific province. Having said that, we shall ensure that there is uniform development in all our 10 provinces. Our provinces are endowed with natural resources that will be used for the benefit of the people. Firstly, in that province, and then elsewhere. As Opposition Alliance, our Marshall Plan for these provinces is designed in such a way as to encourage private investment, both local and international, to set up businesses in those areas. To this end, we shall promote the ease of doing business in the nation and offer incentives to industries that set up businesses in rural areas. Maybe to pause a bit, you may notice that there is a lot of migration from the rural areas to the urban areas. And we need to keep that because the rural areas are losing gifted people who are all running along the line of rail. Development must not be centered in Lusaka alone or the line of rail. This will include the zero rating of VAT on products in these areas and reducing excise duty on agricultural equipment imported especially to be used in the provinces. In government, the Alliance shall also suspend duty on manufacturing equipment to be used in the provinces to enhance production of goods at a cheaper price for export. A Marshall Plan will also help to reduce high levels of poverty in rural areas, apart from speeding up the development process. A Marshall Plan's aim is to ensure that no area or region or province feel left behind to narrow the development gap. In doing this, we lessen the tensions that arise surrounding the development seemingly eluding certain areas and our people. This is our solution to the simmering problem, the Barotse issue. On Barotseland, as the Opposition Alliance, we are now of the view that this is a clear and present issue that needs resolution. There is so much suspicion and mistrust that the Barotse royal establishment has been demanding that the Zambian government must put down in writing what their position is. As the Barotse issue is an emotive one to parties along both sides of the divide, it may be worthwhile to engage a mediator to bring the two sides together. With the type and nature of the issue that needs resolution, it may be more prudent to get a mediator, whether that mediator, with the type and nature of the issue that needs resolution, it may be prudent to get a mediator. Whether that mediator is local from outside Zambia would depend upon the preference of the two parties. The mediator could be from the House of Chiefs, for example, a regional body such as the AU, or an international one such as the UN. Some people may object to international mediation and say we are a sovereign nation and can resolve this issue amongst ourselves. The simple answer to such an objection is that just a few years ago, the last election, we had issues surrounding our elections, where to be held, and the issue of having a truce and not proceeding with prosecution of an opposition leader. Baroness Scotland came in to resolve these internal issues that we had from the Commonwealth. It should therefore not be cause for objection from anyone. If it was good to bring in Baroness Scotland a few years ago, then it is good to bring in a respected outsider from outside or from within. With the Northern Ireland resolution of the troubles, President Bill Clinton came in as an outsider to work with Prime Minister Tony Blair and Irish Premier Bertie Ahern. At the end of the day, the intervener or mediator must be agreed upon by the parties to the dispute. It is clear that the Barotse establishment is, the Barotseland issue is currently an open wound. If you ignore a wound and consider it to be non-issue, gangrene may set in. Once gangrene deeply sets in, you may find that the only option that remains is an amputation. We've had examples in Africa before, Biafra and Cameroon being cases in point. As a nation, we must not ignore this problem. I repeat, as a nation, we must not ignore this problem, but start treating it now to avoid the need for future amputation. The question is, how do we deal with it? There is no any other answer than to have it resolved by sitting at the round table, respecting each other, respecting each side of the divide in order to reach a lasting win-win situation for all parties. As the United Kwacha Opposition Alliance, UKA, we are of the view that the Barotseland issue cannot be resolved by one-liners, nor will it go away by presidential decree. Let us seriously get the various parties in a genuine, let us engage each other, the various parties, in a genuine, respectful dialogue to ensure that this issue is settled once and for all. Signed by Citizens First, President Harry Kalaba, Christian Democratic Party, President Apostle Reverend Dr. Dan Pule, Forum for Democracy and Development, President Edith Z. Nawakwi, Golden Party of Zambia, GPZ, President Jackson Silavwe, National Democratic Congress, President Saboy Mboila, New Heritage Party, President Shalakateka, Patriotic Front, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, United Liberation Party, President Sakwiba Skota. I thank you. Thank you very much.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to J. Cool.